Um, Good evening. Oh my God, y'all said it back. Welcome to the 2019 Caroline Rothstein Oral Poetry Program. I'm here tonight with a really lucky task to introduce a truly singular voice in modern American letters. Roya Marsh is too dear to me to describe in the space of an introduction, but for her, I'll give it a shot. A brilliant writer, performer, mentor, educator, activist, and sneakerhead, Roya continually dedicates herself and her work to the worthwhile project of queer Black liberation and joy. Like many young aspiring poets coming up in NYC, I first engaged with Roya's work online. Struck with admiration at a writer, let alone a queer Black writer, who walks through the world with so much damn swag, I set out to get a chance to work under her wing. And as I think some of us know in this room, I am not alone in feeling that sense of awe. Roya's work has been featured widely, from Poetry Magazine to NBC to Button Poetry to her forthcoming debut collection, Daylight. Her position as poet in residence at Urban Word NYC has impacted countless youth of my city, myself included. But what I perhaps admire most about Roya is her ability to command a room without relying on any institutional markers of prestige. She is her own occasion. No matter the audience, even if it's a scrappy, queer 15-year-old girl from Brooklyn with a terrible attitude, Roya Marsh calls them to action. Ladies, and gentlemen, Roya Marsh.
Now I'm supposed to read poems after that fantastic introduction. Hello, good people. How are we? Don't necessarily feel like this microphone is like a mandate, but I'm going to stand here and grip the edges of this podium because I feel like that's what you do when someone gives you a podium. What you said? You said ladies? Yeah. That's fantastic. Y'all young people come up with some of the most incredible shit. Hey, that's a cup noodle? You sharing? Fine, I won that anyway. This is lovely and extremely intimate, and I'm excited to be here and rock with you all. I seen you before. Yeah, what up? We will chat. Welcome to me. I am going to be reading some poems tonight, and by reading, I actually mean that, because a lot of people say that, and then they just be talking, and they don't be reading nothing, and I'll be like, well, that's weird, because why you keep using that word in that way? But anyway, I actually have a book here that I'm going to read from, and I'm also going to recite some poems for you, and I'm kind of loud, so eventually, I'm probably going to step back away from this mic. Before we get into all that, I would just like to tell this lovely photographer here that you're more than welcome to take my picture. The only requirement is that you get my good side. It's both of them. And then, if you lovely folks on this side would like to come and cozy in the middle, that would be marvelous, you know? You're great, you're great. How is everyone feeling? No, the head nods and, all right, thumbs up work. But the head nod, that's like, I'm feeling, all right, I'll take it. Usually when I ask people how they're feeling, they're like, woo! And I'm like, I don't really know how to gauge, like, what a woo is, you know? Like, because when I feel woo, it's not really a good thing, you know? Anyway, great. Water. I'm going to sip it. Poems. Is this like a quiet reading room?
No.
Like, because I don't have any intention on being quiet. It's just, I didn't want to alarm the masses, you know? I wholeheartedly hope so, but I mean, I'm not in control of their all rightness, you know? My feminism is visible. It's big-breasted. It's smart-mouthed, often discounted and ignored, always wearing shades or throwing it, got bottom grills and 3 master's degrees. It's Tiana Taylor in that Kanye video, dressed like Queen Latifah and set it off. Ain't woman enough for the straight ones. Ain't man enough for the gay ones. Sag sometimes when I don't wear a belt. Shops in men's departments. Hard, but ain't bulletproof. Is proof of the bullet. My feminism is Jesus. The real one. The black one. With locks. On the cross, know the Ankh, crucified yet broken free, cupping the world on its bare shoulders, can carry a baby, but I ain't too sure about pushing it out. My feminism is mother, is a motherfucker, wish a motherfucker would, might smile at you, but not for you, will grab Trump by his pussy, even though he's all asshole, gets catcalled and called dog by women and men who hate how masculine my femininity is. It don't make women loyal. don't make them stable or stay, gets cheated on and called too feminine for having feelings about it. My feminism is exhausted of your expectations, of being judged and being denied and explaining its own femininity. Word. Thanks. So I wrote a book, and it's like definitely the gayest and the blackest shit I done ever done. And I say that because there's actually a page that literally just says black, right? And then when you whip wop to the back, you know, you got another one that just say dyke. And just so people know that that's not a thing that I'm running from, you know? It's a thing that I'm affirming. It's a light that I'm walking in, you feel me? The dope part about this book is that there are only like 2 poems in here that I've ever performed or like read aloud in any place. So majority of the time when I open the book, someone's hearing something for the first time. And that's super dope for me because I am very much used to like slamming and then like featuring in different places and doing all of this like wild stage work. And then I get to this place where I'm like, how can I translate what is happening in a physical performance to what's happening on the page, right? Like as fucked up as you are sitting in these little wooden chairs, I want that to happen when you alone in your house too. Like, oh shit, what the fuck, I should do that, right? So it was dope to like journey through that and figure out how that works. The theme of this book is 100% Black butch womanhood, my journey into it, and it's also a major dedication to the women in my life who raised me. All of their names start with G, hence the capital G in the word here, and a lot of what I learned about femininity, but also masculinity, was born of these women, right? So it wasn't something that a man taught me. It was something that I learned from my mother and my aunt and my grandmother and was able to like manifest into this bad bitch that you see before you on this fine evening. So I'm gonna read a couple pieces from here. And the first piece is about my grandmother. So all the poems in this book, have similar titles, and then they all end with a word that begins with the letter G. In broad daylight, black saviors look grandma, or I think I built that wall myself, or my grandmother would never play craps. I never liked gambling. My grandmother's last hurrah was at a casino in Atlantic City. She could talk then. I remember because she called home in a panicked haze when the jackpot lights were all too much and she forgot the bus that took her there was the same bus that would bring her back. My family took a gamble when putting her in a nursing home. She could talk then. I remember because she hated that place and was, of course, fed up with the incompetence of those in power. She saw the country take a gamble on its first black president. The best 8 years of my life, the last 8 years of hers. She was mute for years before the end. And I remember because she never wished me a happy 21st birthday. Or maybe she did, but I wasn't close enough to hear it. I guess I forgot how to listen. I forgot how to talk to someone who could not talk back. Months before she died, this country took a gamble on red. She couldn't talk no more. I hadn't been listening anyway, but I bet she had a few choice words for what would actually make this country great for the first time. He been running this country ragged 457 days. She been going long for 251. I've been going double or nothing with my sanity at stake, like going broke gonna fix anything. I was gonna write this to her, but I keep telling myself she'll never hear it. And I think I built that wall myself. Word. I like that. Nah, I do. I fucks with that. You know, y'all writers in here at the Kelly Writers House, whatever fashion, you know, you ever wrote some shit, like specifically if you sitting down too, that make you lean back in the chair real quick. Like, it's the most unconscious thing ever. It's just like, and you like, fuck that up, you know? Especially if it's like some fiction shit, because when you write some fake shit, like, you be like, all right, then you write some real shit, and you're like, but then, like, the fiction shit, like, when you create a world, especially if you're creating a nice one, because we in a fucked up one, it'd be like, But you don't be making that noise. Usually what you do is just move your body back in the chair like that. And it's good. It's good. Water. Oh. Okay, so Imani said I could do whatever the fuck I want. And that's confusing because when people say that to me, I really be trying hard to like keep my hands on the wheel. So I'm gonna read one more from this book for now, and then I'm gonna fuck y'all up with all this shit that I got in my head, and then I'm gonna shake y'all hands with consent, and y'all could talk to me and ask me questions because I'm cute and articulate, because that's what the white people said about me. Yeah, I meant that. Love you too, money. Cool. In broad daylight, black dykes look glow. For what it's worth, I ain't never wanted to be no man. Except maybe when I gotta pee at the club. I'm such a fucking lady, I can smell my period before it comes. I knew womanhood before I knew women. I'm Geraldine's granddaughter, which means I smack the shit out of you and make you a mean plate of food. Fuck no. I ain't sorry for how I come off. Fuck you if you can't understand it. I'm still gonna reap all these blessings, making out like a bandit. I ain't looking for a handout or a hand back. Fuck your courts, fuck your fields. When I say reparations, I mean I'm taking my land back. My grandkids gonna draw family trees with tree houses and hammocks. I say black joy and they faces go into panic. Like how I know happiness when they didn't plan it. Forget I'm the blessing. Been praising the game like a reverend. Wonder why I'm still stressing, but I'm Gayla's daughter. Watched her make a way of no way and make dresses and teach lessons. Graceful rage and aggression, raising legends. Look at me, fluorescent. Word. So when I think about like where I came from and the women who raised me specifically, like I was having a conversation recently where I was explaining to someone how growing up, I never saw my mother cry. I never saw my grandmother cry, right? But now in their older age, they get frustrated so very easily, right? And I think that there is definitely this element of a preoccupation with death, but at the same time, also like seeing us as adults or growing or making our way in the world makes it easier for them to feel openly as opposed to like the necessity to like stand strong. And then I look at myself and like I used to cry for anything. And I was like, hey, bitch, pick your head up. And then I picked my head up and like realized that not only could I cry and that there was actually strength in that, but at the same time there were moments where like I really just needed to hold on to myself and push through, you know, like the women in my family had taught me. Word. Poems. So I have a brand. It is called Black Joy. It is like my guiding light, the theme to which I navigate the world. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And it doesn't mean that there is an absence of sorrow in my life. It really just means that like darkness isn't the thing that everyone said it was. It means that like black is lovely, is beautiful, and there is such a great joy embedded in it that the world wants to take it, right? And take it away from like the people who created it, the people who harbor it at all times. And I think that it's really important for me to spread that message, specifically when I'm working with young people, because the what brings a lot of people to writing, in my experience, the young people that I've worked with specifically, is sadness, is trauma, right? And that's a real thing to write through, to work your way through. And it's also just like life work. It's forever work. Healing doesn't have a start or a stop time, you know? But the truth of the matter is, like, when I step into a place and I see someone being like happy, like, and it's unabridged joy, specifically like a young black or brown person, I'm like, oh shit, like who taught you this joy at this point in your life, you know? And in those moments, I want to capture that, and I want to hold onto that and hold them there too, so they know that joy is a real thing and a good thing, and that they deserve to feel it, right? And so at some point in this set, I'm going to read that poem. And by read, I mean recite off the top of my head. But before I get to that, I'm just going to do some, like, I don't know, not sad shit, but just, you know, shit that's, you know, not so uppity and joyful. And, word, it's going to be a thing. 13-year-old Danielle Brigoli says she's from the streets. Says she got it from her mama. Forgets her mama got it from mine. Forgets I can't speak the speech my mama gave me without drilling a hole through my jaw. A white girl says, catch me outside, and a dying talk show gains new views. A live talk show is cued into laughter, amused by the black girl chained to her tongue. How some children are just born with plantations stitched into their mouths. A white girl says, catch me outside, and bodies break themselves apart. Limbs weave into nets. A black boy says it and he becomes a net full of holes. Bullets ready themselves. A tree gives birth to another noose. A death angel is granted its wings because colored folk can't say much without fear of being fire and ash. Can't be out here talking like I'm from the streets, but can't be caught with my tongue dipped in bleach either. Catch me outside, my mama popped me on my mouth saying I can't talk like that round white folk. Catch me outside, the small of my back indented by a gun or a policeman's knee or a cotton gin. Catch me outside, a water hose stripping the skin off my back. Catch me outside, my arm in the mouth of a police dog, cause ain't nothing like dark meat. Catch me outside, my blood sprawled out sizzling like a cracked egg in August. I just want to know who gave her permission. I want to know who allowed her to makeshift the throne of my words. I want to know who granted her the license to kill me. Remember how they caught Eleanor Bumpers inside her apartment, caught Ramali Graham inside his grandmama house, caught Corinne Gaines inside hovering over her 5-year-old son, caught DJ inside his own car. Remember, they have done this once already. Caught us outside, on the Gold Coast, on the auction block, captured our essence, doused themselves in it, and scorched our culture to the ground. No smoke rose, not even a body, not even a memory of the blaze. Remember how Sandra Bland did not rise, how Rakia Boyd did not rise, how Philando Castile did not rise, how they cut out everything that can tie us to each other and can steal everything that can tie us to a home. Well, if they try to catch me, they best be ready to catch these hands too. Watch fists morph into AK-47s, watch mouth spew bullets. My body taut and ready, too heavy for their ropes, too heavy for the sky, too heavy not to bring heaven crashing down with me. I pray they catch me outside their house, inside their schools. I've come to deliver their caskets. I've come to return their bullets. I've come to reclaim my own blood. How about that? Word. I'm back at the podium now. Gripping both sides. Really hoping I don't get a splinter. It's fancy though. It's a little flower. You did this for me, or this is always here? Dude, that's lovely. What kind of flower is that? Me neither, baby. It's fine. I was just trying to ask for insight. Anybody know what that is? Not one of us. I like that. What you said something? That's it? Oh, you know flowers? Look at you. Just knowing. I don't know nothing about them. Not a single thing. I never did. Probably, yeah. You try to Google image it? A chrysanthemum, that's deep. Look at that. How you know that? I don't know that. I never heard nothing like that. But I know a chrysanthemum is a flower, just never seen it. I believe you, though, because I have no way to deny what you said. So, like, we're just locked in here. Hey, how are you? Is this a chrysanthemum? Okay, feel you. That's it. It's chrysanthemum. Man once said a woman's place in the Bible was on her knees, but I know better. No man of God cuts a woman in half to make himself feel cross-worthy. Man says, I can't be queer and believe God walked on water. But what's being queer, black, mask, femme, but a body of water anyway? Another Dead Sea to be walked on, to be drowned in. God made us in his image, but the church makes me believe I'm not worthy of his reflection. The church is nothing but a history of damnation. Men who invaded our motherlands, baptized our throats with English fire and brimstone entire villages. I turned into a pillar of salt looking back on their faces. I know people who go to church whole and come out broken. I watch women walk in church a prayer and walk out a wretch. I know demons disguised as pastors, sins etched on the backs of pews, cursing this queer body, but never damning the church and its violence. A man with the name as beautiful as Jesus molested me, and the Virgin Mary said nothing. I was paid to perform at a church, but turned away from my sexuality at the door. I attended a church that made me put money in an envelope before they agreed to send God my prayers. Well, without sinners like me, your God wouldn't even have a job. My anger isn't with the Bible. My anger isn't with Jesus. My anger isn't with the only man who loved me enough to die for me. My anger is with the fools who gather in his name, who prey on me and the people I love but never pray for themselves. I feel unsafe in the house of their Lord because his sheep abandoned me, traded their fleece for wolf teeth, invited me to the table without a seat, told me I could only worship if I was more Eve but less obedient, more Babylon but less Sodom. But every day I return to the church of my own body. I go the way of all flesh, unforgivable, unworthy of being saved. And when the choir gathers to sing me infected and throw stones at my back while the congregation serves as witness, God, oh holy God, let them know that if I'm so unholy, if I'm so unfavored, if I'm mistaken for anything but God's image, left to choose salvation or suffering, loving this queer body till the slaughter, or laying it down for the slaughter, I never gave up on my faith. I never stopped believing in mercy. I never forgot that God and love is the breath inside me. And if they won't let me into their heaven, if they insist on sealing their gates, I will take my God. I will take my queer. I will forge my body and my love into a heaven of its own. It's hot. Thank you. I like these little golf claps. They're lovely. So if you get this book, wow, you're also lovely. If you get this book, and you'll see like a couple times, maybe like 2 or 3, that my daddy ain't shit. And so in here, it's only like twice, and I tried to limit that because this book truly is an homage to the women who brought me up. But like, I couldn't tell that story without also highlighting how the fuck dude infiltrated. And this next poem is like just a bit about that, you know. I carry the timber of men I have never loved. Men like my father, whose absence taught me how to burn, to choke on the ash and think that enough. This is how you start a fire. First, gather wood for kindling. Build a nest for twig and dry leaf. My father was good at leaving. He was good at getting drunk and breaking me like a twig. His fleeting made room for hollow men to gather their wood in me. Mistaken kin for kindling, child for campfire. Make me a nest for their trauma next. Cut a small depression into the wood. Insert a branch and rub them together until they spark. This is known as hand drilling. All you need are strong hands, willing to apply pressure, willing to shatter nature into a flame. I heard my father was once an ocean so beautiful he could douse the demons out of any man, but bad magic shattered his nature, turned him into a flame that destroyed everything that he loved. Strong hands applying pressure to my face, to my mother's face, drilling his way through us as though we were an inconvenience, a small depression in his path. My father sparked the danger in me, and I blamed myself. I drugged myself. I cut myself. I swallowed enough alcohol to set my guts ablaze. I thought I could fix me, put a match to my own wick and learn to lie and lose and leave without a trace. Learn to be just like him, an ocean on fire, a sea of smoke, a disaster no wind or woman could calm. They say you keep rubbing the branch against the wood until an ember erupts, until it grows into inferno, until there is no air to breathe, no way to escape. I can't act like absence has no repercussions. I cannot love a man who never loved me, who sacrificed me like a shepherd would. I cannot pretend like my father had no choice, like trauma doesn't fall far from the perpetrator, laughing as the dull axe swings again and again, like he didn't choose to make timber of me. I am done holding my breath for men like him. A good father is an ocean. I have not yet learned to swim, but I sure as hell know I can burn. It's remarkable to be able to get through that and not cry, I have to be honest. But it's mostly because I'm a thug. Where's everybody from?
North.
Brooklyn. West Village.
Philly.
Oh, you said Philly. Hey, all right, guys, first of all. Fine, I'm still a thug, be careful. All right, West Philly, where you from?
Rhode Island.
Ooh, that's fancy. Y'all got good seafood. Harrisburg, PA. Welcome to me. Where you from?
Philly.
Yeah. Ooh, say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Philly.
Yeah, you sound like you calling the radio all the time. Hey, call it. Where you call it? Philly. You know what the fuck going on. Where you from? What going on? Ooh, what part? That's a big state. A lot of it? Cool.
No, near the Bay Area.
Oh, near the Bay Area. I thought you said near the area. I was like, the area. All right, I'm not going to. That's deep. That's deep. You're right. Makes sense. I'm about my fucking business. You're absolutely right. Where you from? That's in Texas? Can be cute or I am. All right, confusing. Where are you from?
New York.
Welcome. What part? The whole New York? Oh, all right, cool. Where you from, Heidi?
Delaware.
Ooh, my sister's in Delaware right now. She coaches at Delaware State.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've only driven through it. I ain't never like been in Delaware hanging out. It's nice.
Yeah.
Where should I go?
Any park.
Oh.
Parks the state parks.
I should just go to a park in Delaware. Heidi, I'm gonna show up at a park and I'm gonna tell them you sent me, right? Where you from, friend?
DC.
Yeah, DC. Okay, I'll take that. But what park? Is DC big too? Northeast. Heard you. Where you from, sir?
North Philly.
North Philly. Heard you. Say that one more time. Philly. Yeah, you calling the radio too. Where you from? Hey, I'm calling from North Philly. Got you. Where you from, friend? Ooh, cold in Minnesota. Dang. What part of Minnesota you from? Oh, okay. Twin City, Minnesota. That's where I'm from. Where you from in the back?
Sacramento, California.
Okay. Where you from?
Southern California.
Ooh, okay. Where you from? Tennessee. Where it look like I'm from? You don't say nothing. Where it look like I'm from? What'd you say?
I say Brooklyn.
You said Brooklyn? That's cute. That's not it. What'd you say? Yeah. Do I look? You read it. Fine. You a reader. I'll accept it. I don't think you cheated. I think you did the right thing. Reading is fundamental. But I like that. That I look like I'm from Brooklyn because I'm not. But also, I also don't want folks to show up in the BX and be like, hey, you know where Roy at? Because I'm going to do that when I get to the park in Delaware. I'm going to ask everybody if they seen Heidi and why she's trying to run from me. Dope. So I'm going to read another poem from this book, and then I'm going to recite one more poem. And what time is it? It's 6:53. Look at it. We're doing great because we've been here for a little minute. And I took my jacket off because I was a little sweaty. But also I was going to read some shit about my father. Look at that. And here we are. He ain't shit. Period. Let me tell you. The way that it's two things, right? Like when you go somewhere and you be like, where Brooklyn at? And everybody be like, woo, Brooklyn. And then you be like, my daddy ain't shit. And people be like, period. Woo. I'm like, all right, well, we resonate on a number of levels. Lovely. Thank you for seeing me. If your daddy is shit, that is lovely. I'm from the Bronx. If he ever comes to the Bronx, tell him I love daddy-daughter relationships, and I'm willing to link up if he's so interested, Whatever you like. I like pancakes. I like tea. I just, In broad daylight, black daughters look gossip. No one in my church knows my father, but I carry his name. Head bowed, in prayer, in shame, in offering, empty palms turned up at the altar. I am nothing more than his daughter, begging another man I have never seen for mercy, for love, for saving. There is never a good enough lie to tell. The truth is always gone. I am a lonely audience while the choir hums and the congregation peers over their shoulder. They say neighbor, and the air whispers lonely. And the whispers whisper, come forth. And no one whispers forgive, so I don't. I just carry my void on my shoulders, at the dance, on paper, on my tithes, on my wedding day, on my smile. Everyone says that's my best feature. Says it lights up a room, could light up the sky, and I think that kind of metaphor is what killed Christ. I was born and named and left, and this smile was born with a window, and all my sacred keeps slipping right through, and I just let it. And ain't no sense in chasing what ain't trying to be caught. That goes for liquors, that goes for lovers, that goes for leavers. Remember, no one in my church knows my Father. They just know his name and pray my strength in his name. But this name is mine in all its history. And this smile is mine and all its fissures. And what comes and goes from my mouth will have been crafted of my own legend. And who I choose to worship is the one facing me in the mirror of my own altar. I wrote that by myself. If Caroline is watching, hello, Caroline. You're lovely. I don't know where the camera might be. I was like, you just pointing. I don't know what that means. Hey, I'm waving. I hope that you're still there. And if you're not, well, maybe there's a recording or something that you, all right, look at that. See, so you'll see it anyway. But if you are, I hope you're smiling. Hope you're happy. Hope you're joyful. Thanks for this. One day they're going to have a Roya Marsh oral poetry reading. And it might be me who starts it, but who knows? Who knows? But shout out to you. So, word, I'm going to do another poem. All right, so this could go one or two ways, because I know I said I was going to do Black Joy, but then I could also just do some other. No, I'm going to just do Black Joy, because I'm black and I'm joyous. Look at Heidi giving me the affirmative head nod. Yeah, you're going to see it, because I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to fuck it up, Heidi. Wait, no more. We've been hurt, been down before. When our pride was low, looking at the world like, where do we go? And we hate po-po. They want to kill us dead in the streets for sure. I'm at the preacher's door. My knees get weak and my gun might blow, but we gon' be all right. My name is Roya Marsh, and I am a black poet who will not remain silent while this nation continues to murder black people. I have a right to be angry. I have a right to be joyful. And black joy is real. Is native, is not white, was here before that. Before God said, let there be light so they could witness a glimpse of what they've been missing. Black is not a color, but absorbs all the colors of the visible spectrum and reflects none. Joy is a feeling of great pleasure or happiness. Black joy looks like me, like him or her or them. It knows no gender, just knows prosperity in spite of white supremacy. Black joy is a stone worthy of digging, of excavating, a coveted jewel to be held up to light, to sparkle, to dazzle. Black joy knows this poem is necessary no matter what their judgment says, because they can't tell me black joy won't break any scale. They put it on shit. They can't tell me black joy ain't the scale itself. Black joy is contagious. So contagious, folks got caught appropriating, caught pinning black against black, or joy against joy, or Remy against Nikki, or Cardi against Nikki, or Ree against B, or Serena against Naomi. Because healthy, wealthy black femmes got too close to God, and they only want to see us black and joyous if they make us that way. But they cannot create black joy the same way they created race. They cannot dictate our blackness. They cannot dictate our happiness. And yeah, it's true. Once you go black joy, you never go back. Ask the Kardashians, those black holes. Make a staple of black joy. Remember, black and happy can be synonymous. So whenever you hear the word black, instead, hear happy. Case in point. In 2016, we bid farewell to this nation's first happy president. February will now and forever be known as Happy History Month. Hollywood still won't cast happy people to play our happy selves, and yet another happy body is found slain. All the more reason to preserve this shield, this force field of fortune. No hot commodity to be bought or bootlegged or Kylie lip kit, backshot, brainwashed. Be your happiest when your mouth is open. Be your blackest when your mouth is open. Shout it at Kelly Ryder's house. Shout black, shout joy. Remember, white supremacy is a beast that feeds on attention. Be happier, be hungrier, starve it, leave it nothing but the bones. Thanks. Back at the podium. Holding tight. You're all marvelous listeners. You're a lovely photographer. I'm more than certain there are so many quality photos of me in that camera. I would like to make space and room for y'all to ask me questions if you are so inclined. Look, Heidi got a microphone, first of all. They are ready. And if you have no questions, we can all just stare at each other for 30 seconds because I'm cute and I'm good to look at. Anybody got any questions, inquiries? You can talk to me about the Bronx also.
When does the book come out?
Okay, cool. So the book drops March 31st, but it is considered an April book, so it will be out for National Poetry Month. And it's my baby. I'm excited. This is not easy. This is an uphill battle. It's also like my first they found me and they gave me money and they bought it from me, and that's some shit I never saw happening. I was like, you want to do what with what? Okay, cool. We could do that. And then it was sweet and it felt amazing, and then we got into several fights over the work because it's a lot of white people in the publishing industry, and this is really black, as I said in the beginning. So there was some shit that I was just like, oh, you just don't get it, baby, and that's okay. It's not gonna change. And they were like, no, but Ray, I really no. But not that part either. No, I'm not gonna change that either. No. Oh, Butch, yeah, nope, write that word. Yeah, I put it, yeah. But word, so it'll be out in April. I will. What's your name? Siobhan, you my favorite because you said chrysanthemum, and then we were affirmed, and then you telling me take more photos, and that's the kind of energy I need in my life. Hey, what's your name, photographer?
I'm Roanna.
Roanna?
Yeah.
I said that correctly?
Yes, you did.
All right, cool. I ain't want you to fight me or nothing. I don't know where I'm at, and if I gotta run, I don't know which direction to go. Anybody got any questions? It's a bridge? And that's dangerous, so don't go to the bridge. Oh, yeah, clearly I don't do well with the uphill, right? So what's that way, though? Flat ground. But there ain't no water, no swamps or nothing. I'm not going to trip it. All right. You seen Bruce Willis in Unbreakable? You never seen that? Oh, because that's me in water. I don't do water well. It'd be a raindrop. I'm drowning. So, anyway, dead word. Anybody have any? Hey, what's your name? Hey, Saeed, how you doing? Blessed, highly favored, no complaints. Talk to me.
Thanks. When did you start writing poetry?
Like in general in my life?
Yeah, just in general. When did you start when did you start liking it? When you're like, oh, this is something that I like to do.
Okay, word. It was a quality transition for me from wanting to be Remy Ma, and then she shot somebody in the stomach, and I was like, whoop, not going that route. And then actually finding spoken word and learning what I had in my notebooks hidden and tucked away was an element of that. When I was actually in undergrad, this dude, Steve Aldrich, I hope you're alive somewhere, Steve. Shout out to you. I mean, you white, but I still got mad love for you, He was like, yo, have you ever seen this? And he pulled this clip up on YouTube, and it was some poet, I don't even know. But they were going, he's like, oh, this is a lot like the stuff that you read. So I went to PWI, of course, and there were coffee houses, which there was no coffee at the coffee house. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Everybody was reading their style of poetry, and I was always apprehensive to share because what I was writing was not aligned with what they were doing. They was writing pretty shit, and world was not pretty for me at that point, right? And so once he had showed me that video, it just opened up a new avenue for me to attack. And then I met some super dope mentors. So I would answer your question directly by saying I had always been writing poetry, but in a more zoned in way, say that I got into doing what I'm doing now when I was in college. Yeah. And then I met some super dope mentors who really fucked the club up, And couple folks that I met, Mahogany L. Brown, Jaff Poetic, Ebony Hogan, Whitney Greenaway, Jennifer Fallu. I mean, just all these phenomenal people who are like, Roya, this is good. Roya, that's trash. Roya, say more on this. Roya, don't say that. And I was like, all right, we could, okay. Strike through, fuck with the rest of it. You know? And like, that's the kind of guidance I feel is necessary. I think that there are moments when like, you have to like, coddle folks and offer a bit of tenderness, and then there are other moments where you have to like look at people and say, yo, say that thing. And a lot of people aren't saying that to writers. They're just like, oh, this is lovely. Like, don't fluff me. Like, tell me this is trash, or tell me it's hot fire. And even if it ain't hot fire, like, tell me where I'm headed, right? Or what's working and what's not working. And they did that, and that was really phenomenal. And hella other people. Caroline, you know, she's OG since OG. So like, that's beautiful. And we like been in competitions with each other and all that, which is nice too. It's nice to like be a nobody and like slam with legends and really whip their ass, and then like people be like, oh my God, I love you, and I be like, you should love me. You should. Word.
So what is it that you think your voice brings to poetry that was missing?
Word, me. I was missing. I don't necessarily know if there is an element of like, I don't know if there was a void, but I know that there was a necessity, because I have plenty of things to say, and I know that there are plenty of people who are better for hearing it. I know the work that I have put into this, but I also know the young people who, of course, I'm not the only hand in their lives, but they out here like Ivy Leaguing and shit, and I'm like, I know them, and they look up to me, and I look up to them at the same time. And I think that that sort of cycle is one that is pushing the world forward, is pushing the genre forward, and continues to push our pens forward equally. And also, I'm the shit, man. I really am. And so I'm what the game been missing. Just me. That's what I'm bringing. My truth, you know? And there is a space for it. I think there's a space for everyone at least one time. And, you know, it's like a copper flop kind of thing. I ain't no flop, but, you know, it is what it is. It's going to be what it be. Hey, Roanna, how you doing? Ro, see, fucked it up. She came for me. Roanna, thank you.
Who do you feel are the people in your life who made you a person?
Made me a person?
Yes, that is my roommate's expression. I think it's a very good one.
I was about to say, because you fucked me up, Roanna. Maybe, well, made me a person. I think these three women, Geraldine, Gayla, and Glennis, that's my grandma, my mother, and my aunt. My siblings definitely had like a major hand in who I am, whether it be good or bad. I'm one of 8, and we are all 8 different people. Like, if we didn't have physical similarities in our features, it'd be hard to tell that we were related. Like, one of us is a doctor, the other one's a basketball coach, an engineer, but like, we're not even into any of the same things. We all dress differently. It's like the nose. I'm the only one with the gap, so I think I'm adopted, but then my daddy got it, so I gotta be his, unfortunately. I know. You know what you was doing, guy. But outside of that, I became an aunt at 4. That's when my first and oldest nephew was born. And like, me growing under my parents and the elders in my family, and then under my siblings, but then also being older than these people who weren't my siblings, and I was somewhat of an authority figure like for them growing up, definitely shifted me in a way that I felt it mandatory to like walk correctly, for lack of a better term, and like actually become a person. And it actualized me as a human being, right? Because there are people who are watching me, who are following me, who are playing sports because I play sports, who are rapping because I rap, who are now like writing poems and working for the organization that I work for because I'm there, right? And finding their way in the world because I'm doing that. Also, something really important, which I think that question brought up for me first, was this project. The intro to it is this essay that I'd written about no one in my family being open or out when I was growing up, and how that didn't really dawn on me until I was older, right? A lot of people talk about the lack of representation, like in film and in media and all that, but like no one in my family was gay. And then I was a kid, like 13, like Modest, my girlfriend, and all of a sudden everybody else was like, well, I have a wife. And I was like, where the fuck was your antennas? You know? And I think that the thing that my nieces and nephews offer me is the ability to like be an unabridged version of myself. Because I want them to also live freely in that way, you know? Word. That was a deep ass question, Roanna. I ain't gonna fuck that up again. Okay. Seems like we're good.
Okay,
Beautiful.
really stupid. What are your three? If there were three things I had to read before I died,
Ooh.
what would these three things be?
Okay.
I think I should read
That you need to read before you die.
before I die, based upon what you know.
On me. Okay. Daylight.
Okay. Which I'm gonna get. Yes.
Outside of that, right, you know, to give it. Outside of that, three things that I think that you need to read. One is very broad. Anything by Jamaica Kincaid. Phenomenal. Two is, I'm sure you've already read The Color Purple, Alice Walker. Have you or no? Like the actual, yeah. Hey, read it backwards. See what that does to you. Three, I would say. I mean, it turns out that. I don't know if I'm trying to give him this. I was about to say Juno Diaz, but I know he ain't shit. So before you die, we gonna slide away from that. You know what? Don't do that. But I feel like, yeah. I would say that. Okay. I say Should Have Been Jimmy Savannah by Patricia Smith. I say anything by Patricia Smith, but that one specifically. I think books about naming are like super, super important to me because I'm still working through like finding my own name, first, middle, and last. And I found out recently that my middle name I thought it was from my daddy my whole life, and I was like never telling people and really hating it. And then the other day my mother was like, no, girl, I gave you that name because I went to see the musical the night before I gave birth to you. And I was like, oh shit, why you ain't say that 30 years ago? I would see you hating it. But Should Have Been Jimmy Savannah is like one of my favorite, and it is about naming. And that's like super important because there's so many things that the world will call you. But what would you like to be called is my favorite question to ask people. Hey.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I know you spoke earlier about you really wanting people to, when they go home, like really like on the page be able to have like a similar feeling. So I wanted you like to talk about maybe like your different mindsets between like writing for the stage as opposed to the page. Do you have a different mindset? And I guess the second part was did you find there was a tension between like in the publishing industry, like what people deem quote unquote slam poetry as opposed to like, you know, poetry that they deem, you know, real, you know what I mean?
Word. I'm gonna answer that a little bit backwards. I think there is a tension in the slam poetry industry about what people deem slam poetry. Because I don't deem nothing slam poetry, but everybody else be like, man, really loved your slam jam on stage. And I'd be like, you think I was talking for an hour? Was I competing against myself? Do you know what a slam is, right? But I think for me, the difference now is where my head is at. Because I'm consistently writing, I'm not writing for anything besides like to continue flexing this muscle, right? I'm reading to broaden my lexicon, right? But when I'm writing, it's because I want to bend grammar to create worlds and narratives, and for the most part also with this poetry thing, especially when I'm doing introspective work, to recreate, right, stories, right, writing into the narrative of my own life. When I am personally writing, I'm not writing for anything besides that, but I know that all of my work is going to see a stage in some capacity, right? I'm also like surrounded by young people who are like, nope, don't want to perform it, just want to write it. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. But then you have to be outlandishly intentional, right? Because when you just give someone a piece of literature, right, they get to interpret it however it hits them, however it reaches them, right? I'm not trying to control that, but I do want those emotions to stand out, right? So now what I do in conversation is like, take a breath or take a pause, right? Or make sure that my inflection is hitting, or make sure that like if I'm talking about something joyful that my physical body is showing that, right? How to translate that onto paper is different, you know? Does the poem come in the shape of a heart? That's corny for me, right? But like, how can I do that? Is it a punctuation thing? Are there gaps there? The poem itself, is it musical? What's the rhythm that it's following, you know? And sometimes some of the emotions and the mindset that I was feeling while writing it, I can see afterwards. And when I give it to the eyes of someone else, they're like, oh, wow, like you were really, you know, da-da-da while you was reading this. And I was like, you could tell, because I was hoping, you know? But I also think that like, this is a show and a performance in and of itself, right? Like working through this one, it's hard not to hear what I sound like. For me, and I like to watch other people read it or like hear their thoughts on it and see what they pull from it and ways in which they interpret it. And a lot of times people say stuff that's like aligned with what I enjoy. And then one of my mentors recently, like he wrote to me and he picked out 2 poems, which not that I like the least, but like 2 poems I think which maybe hit me the hardest to write. And I would never have said those are my favorites in the book, you know, but he felt this level of honesty and like what I would refer to as the breaking in those 2 pieces. And I'm like, oh, all right, like dope, because I did break, and I won't read those out loud because I'm finna cry and I'm a thug and can't nobody see me up here breaking down. Word. But I think that slam is beautiful. Slam is how I'm here in this space right now. Like, it is what opened the door for me. I thought I was at an open mic, and then the host was like, do you have another poem? And I was like, yeah, but for what? And then people started throwing up numbers and shit, and the next thing you know, they had to explain to me that this was 2011. They had to explain to me that this was a poetry slam, and I was like, what? And after that, I was kicking ass left and right. So I was like, oh, all right, I fuck with it. And then, you know, it got to a point where like I understood why I was successful, because I wasn't writing for any specific thing. I was writing for me. I was telling a truth that I had never really told outside of like therapy. And outside of that, I was doing it in the most artistic way that I saw possible, right? It was less ranting, less reading from a journal, right? And more like acrobatics. How can I grab this concept, grab this frame, and then tell these people the story of what happened and how I got here, and fuck them up, but also send them home like wanting to be free themselves, you know, do more and figure it out. Word. I hope some way I answered your question. Yeah. I don't know. Y'all are brilliant and beautiful. Siobhan leaving. I feel you. No. That's not a bad thing. You are lovely. Thank you. I'm gonna catch you. Oh, I don't steal. Is it Daisy?
It's a daisy.
And I think the yellow thing is forsythia, and I don't know.
The yellow thing is what? Say it one more time. First, oh, all right. Y'all out here. I don't know nothing. That's a daisy?
Yes, it's a daisy.
I ain't never seen a daisy then. Maybe I have.
Sure you have, it's just been white.
Ooh. I probably ain't never seen a daisy then. This a carnation? I know the name of the poem is Sure You Have. It's Just Been White. That's the name of it. That's the name of it. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Imani, for holding me down at all times. Y'all are beautiful. We got food and we got wine. I am a dickhead. I love you, kiddo.